you've interviewed Dave. It wasn't me that took that video. It was Dave that filmed through. Dave and a guy called Gary, who filmed that video in the basement, where they went back to record noises for themselves. Do you notice how this guy? He mentions me all the time, but he doesn't mention anybody else. And on my website, it tells you who made that video. And like in previous episodes, you've heard Dave actually speak.
Prove to me that you're alive.
Welcome everyone. This is Prove to Me that You're Alive Lightcast. I am your host, NazareN, and today's guest is not a guest at all. This is my brother. This is family. But I just wanted to say this very importantly. This is part of the introduction of our family member that's coming by to talk to you, all of you today, is that when the idea Prove to Me that You're Alive as a philosophy, as an idea, and then as a podcast came along, I always wanted to do stories that matter. And this story today in particular is one of those stories. It really matters. We should all pay attention to it. We should all, even as little as possible, try to do something about it. And I just want to thank everyone that has been following the story, has been commenting, all the new people that are going to see this. And please refer to all the links that will be in the description, because this has now become a series. So, of course, I'm talking about the incident that happened in Ammanford and Wales. And there is one man and his warrior of a wife, people that really dedicated and sacrificed many years in order to get the justice for these children. So of course I'm talking about the incident with the screaming children. That's what I call it, so people know what we're talking about. So without further ado, the one, the only Tait from Unmasked the Mystery. How you doing, my brother?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Thanks for the intro. That was quite a good intro. Cheers.
Yeah. No, it's I'm very serious. It's very easy for us to come on the podcast and talk, and then turn off the computer and go about your merry way. But you actually have been living this. You have been living this, as you mentioned before we started recording. You've been living this for now going on to 8th year, where people, I really want you to understand, Alan and his lovely wife had to completely change their whole life. And so today what we wanted to do is a video was made about this story. And I'm gonna say the YouTuber, it's Void the Warlock. And the video is titled The Ammanford Inciden, an Internet Mystery. So in the title itself, I already have a problem. But what we wanted to do today with Alan, and Dave is going to join us, is we want Alan to respond to the story. I mean, Alan is the only person that has the right to respond to the story, because Alan is the one that brought this story to light, to the whole, presented it to the whole world. You guys got to excuse me, I'm a little woozy. I've been a hard couple of days. But so Alan, are you okay with us going through this video, and then you will have a chance to respond and maybe correct some things, because I heard a lot of discrepancies in that video. So what do you think?
Yeah, I'm absolutely up for it. I've watched that video twice now, and it's kind of been put together quite well, in as much as it's very misleading, and it's meant to be. Yeah, let's do it step by step.
So before we go on, this is very interesting. Why do you say it was meant to be misleading?
because the guy misses out. If you look at it, he's had archives of my old, the original websites. I didn't even know they were still up. Well, they're not still up, but he's got archives of them from somewhere, and he's got the up-to-date stuff from the True Justice Seekers site that I've only recently just done. So he's had all the information there, but he's chosen to leave out key items such as Mustafa bin Bogar was the guy next door who was convicted for rape at gunpoint and attempted child molestation. There are 5 references to death. They're clear on that website. He chose to ignore them. He also chose, in amongst the screams, you can hear voices. The people are quite obviously terrified, but it's been cut, and it's been cut to just the screams. Then he makes the remark about a helicopter and takes what I said out of context and suggests to everybody that the helicopter is somehow underground in my basement. It's just ludicrous.
So you don't think that this is like an honest mistake? You know, someone read the wrong information or whatever, and they put together a wrong picture. You actually think this was purposely done, right?
Yeah, I think he's built up a story from a deliberate narrative, 100%. I've watched it a couple of times, and that's not just the work of someone that's made a mistake. That's the work of somebody who's deliberately avoided some of the key issues that are on the sites.
I have to say that you know, before we start with the video, I really have to say that there's been a lot going on surrounding this story in my life ever since I've been connected to the story, and Alan knows what I'm talking about. But I mean, just these, you know, for a lack of a better term, supernatural events, phenomena. You know, internet is not working, cell internet is not working. I had that happen to me last week. When I was playing the audios of the poor children suffering, you know, just this, I don't know. At one point, I felt like there was a presence with me in the room, and again, I don't want to take it to, you know, some kind of a paranormal or mythical side, but these occurrences happen. Alan, maybe you could share the experience that you had with, you know, everything. I don't know if it was deleted or whatever. Your stuff stopped working. Like, what happened to you recently?
Everything. I mean, earlier you mentioned about writing a book. Now, when I'm reading Chris's diaries back, you can see a definite pattern. And it's crazy, but stuff always goes wrong. You know how many times we've tried to get in contact with each other. My electric goes down, or your electric goes down, or the internet goes down, or Dave's internet goes down, or this happens, or that happens. But it's always something. It's more than coincidental. It couldn't be coincidental. It's just happened too often.
Yeah, if you were just to tell, you know, to tell this to somebody that has heard about this for the first time, that they might think that we're nuts, you know, that we're going crazy. But this stuff actually has been going on ever since, you know, we started to cover the story. But I quickly again want to say I'm very, very appreciative to Alan for even giving me a chance to partake in this story, because I really think, Alan, that once everything is said and done, I think we will realize that this story is far larger than what we even imagine, you know?
It seems to me that this is bigger than I first thought. When I first reported it to the police, that was it. I mean, you could hear the noises for yourself. I thought doors were going to go in. And the more I reported and the more nothing happened, it's just the more that I realised, in my opinion, it's the police themselves that are covering up. Or perhaps it's fairer to say certain police officers. But this isn't just, I don't think it's an isolated incident. If you listen to the recordings that we've got, there's something serious. In my opinion, there was something very serious going on there.
Yeah, and it's extremely sad. Even when I do this with you as a podcast, you know, it really hits me hard. So I can't imagine how, you know, God. Well, I can imagine. Maybe if you believe or you don't believe, but I personally think God has been guiding and helping you through this, because otherwise, I don't know, you could go crazy, man. So I'll stop blabbing. So basically, I'm going to play parts. Let me know if you can hear everything well, and also if you want me to stop somewhere, maybe if I don't stop and you want to respond to it, please let me know. Okay.
Yeah, sure, thanks.
Okay, so let's try this. I'm gonna put myself on mute when I'm sharing, and then Alan can answer each point that we go through. Let's roll. Second. No, this is it. Boom, boom, boom. Excuse me. Okay, here we go.
In the early months of 2019, surrounding towns in Wales got a strange flyer slipped under their
The audio is quite quiet.
women and children that can be heard crying and screaming.
You said you hear it low, Alan?
Yeah, it was very low, then it went quiet.
Let me see. Well, yeah, because I stopped it. Let's see. Let's see if we can. God bless you.
God bless you.
Okay, let's try again. Let's see if because I want you to be able to hear it. Obviously, let's try again.
Cool.
Underneath our basement floor in Ammanford, strange flyer slipped under their door. The women and children that can be heard crying and screaming underneath our basement floor in Ammanford, South Wales, need your help. We have 106 supporters on change.org who have listened to the recordings that we made and have then signed our petition calling for the matter to be properly investigated. Here are some of our supporters' comments. I have listened to the recordings. Now I can't sleep. I see no reason why this matter has not been investigated unless the police are in on it. I have listened to the screaming. They are real. We need to help these people that are trapped underground against their will. This is why my wife and I are traveling all over the UK delivering these leaflets. We need more people to listen to the recordings and to our podcast and share them with anyone they can. This confused a lot of the residents in the area.
Okay, so basically, if you can respond to this, so it's saying, some of our supporters' comments, but then it says in the middle of it, and I just read it. It says we need to help these people that are trapped on the ground against their will. This is why my wife and I are traveling all over UK delivering these leaflets. So, and the creator of the video, he said that you were placing them on other people's doors. So can you again address this?
Okay, and what we actually did is we moved totally out of Wales. We did design the leaflets. I'm not sure that was 100% accurate, but I haven't got a copy of it, so I can't tell you either way, but it seems more or less on track. And what we did with those leaflets is we stapled them to telegraph poles, the wooden poles that get the electric up. We put them in bus shelters and places like that. And we did do many estates where we put them up anywhere we could. So for argument's sake, if there was a block of flats and there was a window, we tape it to the window, or we push it through people's letterboxes. And I stand by all those comments that are actually on there. They were genuine comments received by the people at the time.
Okay, so let's go on. And again, if you will want to, stop and address something, and I'm not pausing, just please let me know. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Let's keep going.
A prank or some mentally unwell person.
Yeah, let's stop there.
People actually took these flyers seriously.
Okay. Yes, the mentally unstable person, right?
Well, no. That guy is very suggestive. He says most people think it was a prank or that we were mentally unstable, and he carries on from there. But there is no evidence to support what he's actually saying. It's just a narrative that he starts to develop.
Yeah, that's a very interesting point. I didn't catch on to it, at first, but obviously this is your story. This is good. Let's continue.
But where exactly did they come from? Who was sending them out, and why? "7 years ago, in June of 2018, Christine Tait was in the kitchen of their house in Ammanford.
Now let's stop there for a minute. Now, that picture is not the picture of our house. Having said that, there are many pictures on the websites that actually are of our house. That's all I have to say about that bit, really.
Okay. Okay. Let's go on. I don't know why the image is so blurry, man. But let's go.
Heard something strange. She described it as a flushing noise, but couldn't tell exactly where it was coming from. Curious,
Yeah, let's
she
stop
went and
there.
woke up
Okay, what he says is she was downstairs in the kitchen and she heard a flushing noise. Complete nonsense. Chris went downstairs, it was about 2 o'clock in the morning, because we had an office right in the Apex, to make a cup of coffee. We were working on a project, and we tried to stay awake. Didn't work, but that was the idea. When she went down, she heard noises coming from what was a semi-derelict house next door. She come back up, and this is like 2 flights of stairs. She brought me a cup of coffee, and she said, all these strange noises are coming from the house next door. Well, we just nobody living there or anything like that. And to be honest, I was too tired to go down, but she talked me into it. So I've gone down, and sure enough, I've listened to these noises. It was like an automated machine that we heard at first, but there was a flushing noise and something was flushing into the drain. We later, when we made recordings later on, we analysed them, and that flushing noise can be heard every hour on the hour. In one particular record, which I think covers a 40-hour period, if memory serves me right.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, and I think he's going to, if I'm not mistaken, I think he's going to address this again at the end of the video, meaning how you first heard about or when you first heard the things that you recorded. So let's continue. This is brilliant. As soon as you say stop, you can go on and explain what you want to explain, okay?
Cool.
All right, let's go.
her husband, tell him what was going on. This escalated for the couple almost instantly. Her husband, Alan, upon learning of his wife's concern, left his phone to record in the bathroom to see if they could find anything. What they
Okay, let's stop there.
Go ahead.
Okay. Why? When it says bathroom, why has he got a picture of a toilet? I mean, that's just crazy. This is what happened. And we come back upstairs after we listened to the noises. We were going to have a coffee. We were going to try and stay up, but we were absolutely knackered. We were really, really tired. I was curious there. So when I went past our bathroom, which isn't the one in the picture, I opened the bathroom window, which faces that house. I put my phone on to record, and I put it on the window ledge, pointing towards the house, because I was curious. I just wanted to hear what was actually happening overnight, and I didn't think any more of it until I played the recording back the following day.
Okay, this is brilliant. Again, Alan, as soon as you say stop, you can, right away start talking and explaining. Okay, so let's go on.
Was strange. To them, it sounded like some sort of machine going off, with random flushing noises in between. Once the sound was heard, they started to record all over the house, but the noises that they picked up no longer sounded like a machine. Instead, what they got was chains.
No, that's complete nonsense. The noises didn't change. The noises were coming from 2 different directions. My story hasn't changed over 7 years. The noises of the machines were coming from the direction, or appeared to be anyway, of the derelict house. The screams that we heard in the background seemed to be coming from the rear of the nail bar that's actually in front of my house, and that's it. But the noises didn't change. Both sets of noises are still there, and we've documented both on the website for anybody that wants them.
And screams coming from somewhere under the house. The noises were the loudest from under their kitchen, where their basement is located. Becoming even more curious, they dug holes into their basement walls for better audio recording.
Let's just stop there a minute.
Yeah, go. Holes in the wall, I think he said, in order to hear better.
Yeah, what he's done is he's skipped out a massive part of it. We weren't sure. It's a big jump from recording noises in the bathroom, which is on the first floor, to all of a sudden, whoa, they're down in the basement. But it didn't happen like that. We bought more recorders. We placed them all over the house. So even down in the drains, on every bit of pipe work we could find, old pipes, cross beams, we put them in the loft, in the side of the chimneys, everywhere we could think of. We even recorded from in the back of the park and outside the house and in the alleyway. And by comparison, bit by bit, the noises were loudest coming from downstairs. So what Chris did is she got an SDS drill and was in the alleyway taking out an old post so nobody could hear me downstairs. And I had an SDS in there where I put a hole in through the side wall and in through the floor. In fact, there was 4 holes actually in the basement. And by comparing the holes that were down there, that's how we figured out where the noises were coming from or where they were clearest.
Holy shit, that's crazy, man. That just sounds so insane to me that you guys would actually, get a drill in, because I thought he made a mistake when he said that, but I guess not. Okay, so let's continue, and then you just stop it wherever you want, and then just you can explain right away. So continue.
The basement of the house was fully closed off. Things only got stranger from here. According to them, the only audio device that picked up anything at all was the one in the basement walls. This is what they heard. All of the sounds, according to Alan and Christine, start around midnight. Alan and Christine have recorded hundreds of hours worth of sounds. All
Okay, let's pick up a few points, sir.
Please.
The first thing he says was it was only the recorder in the basement that picked up the noises. No, that's not true at all. We picked up noises almost everywhere that we tried, only they were fainter in some places than others. It was just that the ones in the basement were the louder ones of them. But the ones he's missed out is on the website, ourinvestigation.com, there are 5 clear references to death. He could have played all of them. I don't get why he's missed them.
Ground under their house before they left their home indefinitely. As weeks after hearing these noises, they left. Been living in the back of their van since. They have also tried their hardest to raise any sort of awareness to the case to their neighbors, surrounding towns, and the internet as a whole. But it's been a battle to keep it in the eyes of the public, even going to the police within the first couple of weeks, as they genuinely believed that people's lives were in danger and children were being harmed. But according to the police, who have confirmed that they have had multiple reports from the Taits to investigate the noises and check the property in November of 2018 due to this, they couldn't find anything. This led to the belief that the police...
Yeah.
Okay, he says that the police investigated our property. They didn't. When we gave them those recordings, they didn't go into the nail bar, which is in front of our house. They didn't come into our house at all, and they made an appointment 6 weeks in the future to go into the house next door. Now, that's well documented, but again, he chooses to miss it.
And you guys, the police never asked you to fill out a police report or written statements, anything like that?
No, what happened is We reported it to Dyfed Powers Police, who initially did nothing at all. So we reported it to other police forces. One was Avon and Somerset Police. And after Avon and Somerset Police got in touch with Dyfed Powers Police, they then assigned it to a police constable and a police community support officer who went round. They did have a bit of a look round. They did have a chat with me, but there were no witness statements or anything like that.
Did any of the authorities ever get anywhere close to the basement?
As far as I know, they didn't go in it. They went out of the way, if anything, to avoid it. Again, it's misleading because they don't go in the basement where the recordings were made. So you could have had a look in there. They had the keys, they had the offer, they had all the recordings that we had. They didn't go in there. They didn't go in the nail bar. You can hear one lady speak on the website. What actually happened was that they stood outside the house next door for a couple of days before making an appointment 6 weeks in the future to go inside and look in the house.
Yeah, man, this is crazy when anyone would, say that this could be made up or something. I mean, imagine someone being so concerned about children being hurt that they are going to their neighbors. You guys were literally going to knocking on doors and stuff?
No, we didn't go to the neighbours in that area. No, we left Wales and put leaflets through. I mean, obviously, we reported it to the police. We told the people that we expected would be concerned, like the people that own the shop, the people that own the place next door. But it all just fell on deaf ears. There's no empathy. There was no concern. I've even posted the phone calls that I had with those people on the internet, so everybody can actually hear what they actually said. But there's no concern or empathy for the noises. They've gone out of their way to say that those noises don't exist.
So why do you think this guy would say something? I mean, this could be, possibly just a mistake he made, or he said it on purpose. Because I don't know if you heard, but he just said that you guys went to neighbors.
Yeah, he did say that. Let's play a bit more.
Let's go.
Police were ignoring them and their concerns of the property. Since then, they have resorted to handing out flyers and posting what they have found online, with the mystery to have never been solved. Pretty interesting story, right? When I was first recommended to look into this, it was actually fairly difficult to get any information, outside of some news articles from the UK and
Okay,
a
stop.
bunch of random accounts.
Okay. Now, he says it's hard for him to get information, yet he uses my old website and my new website, so he has all the information available to him. That man isn't telling the truth.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's another thing that I thought about as soon as he said that is, well, actually, there's a ton of information. I mean, you've been doing this for coming up on 8 years. Everything you're doing is putting out information. But let's continue.
On YouTube. It seemed to me, at first at least, to be someone who was mentally unwell, posting sounds that their mic may have picked up from out.
Stop. Now, this is where it starts. Yeah, it seems to be that somebody that's mentally unwell. Based on what? Yeah. How has he come to that conclusion?
So you think this is a deliberate assassination of character, like, kind of subconsciously putting this into people's heads, right?
I absolutely do. I mean, if you look at my website and you go to the people that have misled over the years, because I've documented everything they've said, and if they've spoken the word, I've recorded it if I can, and I've put it up on the internet. This is just classic. It's the easiest thing you can say, isn't it? I'm mad. Well, okay, let's just presume for 1 minute that I am. How do you account for the other 9 people that went to that property, recorded similar noises that the police refused to talk to?
Yeah, you make a great point. Let's continue.
Outside, as their house is actually placed in the middle of a shopping area that would have lots of sound surrounding it. Lots of the audio sounds like car noises, horns, and even sounds of a helicopter at one point.
Stop. Okay.
Prove to me that you are alive.
Now, it's not a particularly busy shopping centre. But what makes you think if there's something underground or a tunnel that you're not going to pick up on a recording that is actually outside the tunnel, some noises from outside? What's the difficult bit about it? I don't understand why people can't get their head around that. Yes, you are going to hear rumbling and other noises that aren't coming from underneath. This is why we use multiple recorders, so we can compare one recording against the other, so we can ascertain which noises are coming from in the basement and which ones are coming from outside.
Hey, listen, it could be that once there was a helicopter, or it could be that once there was a plane flying by. But we're talking about, as this guy said, hundreds and hundreds of hours of recordings.
Yeah, let me clarify the helicopter point. What I actually said was there was a noise that sounded like a helicopter or perhaps a centrifugal fan, and I asked people on the internet what they thought it was. Now, the most rational thing I've heard is that it was a helicopter that flew above the house and the noise travelled down the chimney and was picked up by the microphone, which would be about 3 meters, 4 meters maybe away from that. That to me makes more sense. And our friend Simon, the following day, posted a video saying it was the Royal helicopter and he'd seen it flying overhead. But the helicopter, it seems to me that he suggests it in such a way, and you'll see more of this in a minute, to suggest that I am mad, and what I've actually said is the helicopter is underneath in my basement, which I haven't.
Yeah, I just want to remind everyone that I encourage everyone to go to the website and have a listen for yourself. Actually go through these recordings. So let's continue.
But the more I looked into this case, the weirder things got. The more people seemed to be involved, and the darker the implications. The more I wanted to talk to Alan myself. There is a lot of details about this case that if you were to read the articles or to get a flyer from the Taits, you would completely miss. And honestly, I don't even blame the Taits for this. Both Christine and Alan Tait are in their late 60s and are retired. Not exactly investigators and not at all tech savvy, but despite that, they have done their best to
Stop.
Yes, sir.
What can I say? I'm old, so I couldn't possibly be an investigator. Can't pick up a smartphone. Can't use laptops, anything like that. This is a complete load of nonsense. The person I am, I use laptops and smartphones and AI, as you know. I use it day to day in my life. I designed the website.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but our president, or a lot of presidents, are, let's say, 79, 80 plus, man.
Yeah, no, I get it. It's like, my point isn't the fact that I'm not old, because like I suppose I'm getting on a bit. I'm 68 years old now. But the thing is, I do keep up to date with tech and stuff like that. This is just his narrative.
Right.
Yeah, he's trying to make.
Now I see what you mean. Yeah.
It's like the guy is saying that it's not my fault, and so he sounds like he's being lovely and nice towards me because I'm old, I'm not tech savvy, I'm not this, I'm not really going to be an investigator at my age, am I? It's complete nonsense.
Yeah, he's definitely lining up, the listeners to kind of form a a false vision of who you are. Let's continue. Makes a lot of sense. I didn't notice that when I first watched it. Let's go.
Awareness on what they believed to be an underground human trafficking ring. Ammanford itself was once a coal mining town, with hundreds of tunnels scattered throughout the town and surrounding areas. Having tunnels from these mines running directly under residential and business areas. These mines are
Well,
closed off and have been.
now, hundreds of tunnels, right, running underneath residential areas. The houses would fall down. There are 2 mines in the area, Ammanford 1, Ammanford 2. They're about 1.5 miles from the house, and there are no known records of any mine shaft coming underneath my house or even within maybe a mile of it.
That's a great point, man. That's a great point. I'm so glad that you're addressing this because even someone like me, you know, as familiar as I am about the story, first time watching this video, I wouldn't grasp onto these things. But this is, you know, about your life story. So I'm glad, you know, I'm glad you're saying because it makes a lot of sense. Let's keep.
Since at least 2003. Since then, new tunnels have been made within Ammanford for city maintenance and utilities. But it does get me to wonder, could there actually be something going on in these tunnels? It's unlikely, but it's not impossible. Hidden in the heart of a shopping district of Ammanford, behind a nail salon attached to an abandoned house, is where our story takes place. And the story of the area itself is pretty strange. Alan and Christine owned the residential area behind these 2 buildings, and before they even bought the house, all the way back in 2007, the property suffered from a random fire. Nothing is known about how the fire started, and it was of very little note. The fire
Yeah,
damage
so,
itself was actually the reason.
okay. There we are. It says arson attack predicted by the office owner's family. There was quite a lot known about that fire. It was published in the newspapers, and it was said to be an arson attack by local kids.
Okay. Should we keep going?
Well, yeah, but one thing. After we left in 2024, there was another fire. Again, a very serious fire. Again, it was alleged that it started in the same place. And it's done a significant amount of damage, and the people in the nail bar have actually moved out.
Yeah, Alan addresses this in much greater detail in the episodes previously. So again, links will be in the description in the order that we're doing this story. Let's continue.
Tait bought, as it allowed them to get it for fairly cheap. Before they even bought the house, the basement was already sealed shut, with
Stop.
no known.
Okay, this is what happened. When the fire was there, there was a fire in the place. I was back from Bulgaria, at a friend's house. I was helping him out with his business. We happened to go to Ammanford. We saw the for sale notice, and that was it. I went round the back of the house to have a look at it. I had a pair of binoculars with me. I had a look at the roof through the binoculars. It didn't seem like the fire damage was that bad. It was slightly worse when I got inside, but there were no internal viewings. So anyway, I could see it was a big house, and it is a big house. It's a 2-bedroom flat at the front above Sophia Nails, and there's 4 big bedrooms at the back. I went to the auction, and we won it for £38,000, which is considerable. It's really cheap in the UK. We were living in Bulgaria at the time. We intended to do it up when we come back in sort of the winter months, and then use it for our retirement. And that's what we were doing with that property. But the bit, yeah, sorry, the bit I wanted to pick up on, he said the basement was already sealed, and that's just not true. The basement has a door at the back, which gave entrance into the basement. It was only at a later date that, just for security, we secured that door completely so it couldn't be accessed from that area, and put a hole in the kitchen floor so we could get in and out, to put the mics in and take them out again.
Do you know who lived there before you guys?
Yes, right. It's an interesting one. The guy who bought the house, I'm told he never lived there. His name, let me think, was Alan Davies. He owned 5 or 6 properties. But when I bought it, it was part of a bankruptcy sale, and I hear Mr. Davies had died from dementia.
Yeah, it would be interesting to if we could ever get to talk to some of these people, it would be kind of interesting. Okay, let's continue.
Entry point outside of a ventilation hole in the kitchen. likely due to some sort of structural damage caused by the fire itself. They didn't have any strange sounds or issues until 2018, a full 11 years after they bought the house. The surrounding buildings also have a really disturbing past. The buildings right in front of the Tait home, Sophia Nails, and the abandoned house attached to it, were leased by two very dangerous individuals. A Vietnamese man named Quang Lam and his wife, Trang Tran, who were both involved in a drug trafficking ring, found by a police operation known as Operation Violet Panama. This operation uncovered an extensive underground Vietnamese cannabis farming ring, all taking place in Wales, leading to the arrest of 22 heads of the operation, all of which were being ran through nail salons and underground tunnels. It should come to you as no surprise, but these operations tend to go hand in hand with human trafficking and slavery.
Okay, let's have a stop there.
Nail salons.
Okay, he says that all of those individuals are involved with nail bars. Yeah, as far as I know, that's untrue. He said Quang Lam and Trang Thang Tran, I probably pronounced that wrong, were the owners of Sophia Nails. That is untrue. Trang Thang Tran was the leasehold owner of Sophia Nails where the noises were recorded. That bit is true. She was convicted in Operation Violet Panama. Her partner is a guy called Quang Lam, and he did run a nail bar, but it wasn't in Ammanford. It was down the road in a place called Llanelli, which I believe is about 10 to 12 miles away.
Okay. Yeah, we talked about this in the previous episodes. But when you hear about this whole operation with these Vietnamese people, right away you're like, this is very much possible that they could be as well trafficking children. Okay, let's keep going.
Being used for this purpose, unfortunately, has become an epidemic, not only in the UK, but globally. They bring impoverished people from Vietnam, promise them good jobs and easy citizenship, and then enslave them in a foreign country to run their illegal businesses. Quang Lam ran multiple nail salons, but became the leaseholder of the building for Sophia Nails in 2015. 2017 was when...
Now, I've researched this quite well, as you probably expect me to. Okay, Quang Lam only had the leasehold, and I've checked the land registry things as well. As far as I know, I can only find him on the one title deed, which is the one in Llanelli. To my knowledge, he certainly didn't run multiple ones, and if he did, it was in somebody else's name or something like that.
Interesting.
Operation Violet Panama started, and he wouldn't be arrested until 2019. Surprisingly, this actually all lines up with the noises heard from the basement that started in 2018, along with a video Alan took from a crack in the basement, in which he found a light shining through it.
Stop. Now, see, you've interviewed Dave. It wasn't me that took that video. It was Dave that filmed through, Dave and a guy called Gary, who filmed that video in the basement where they went back to record noises for themselves. Do you notice how this guy, he mentions me all the time, but he doesn't mention anybody else. And on the website, it tells you who made that video. And like in previous episodes, you've heard Dave actually speak.
Right. Right. That's a good point.
Of they're looking through and they can see something, the light. Now, where is that?
Like when that wire is going through.
Yes, stop here for a minute. I don't think you know this. You see that little thing with a piece of white tape on? That's one of the recorders. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay. What we didn't know, me or David, is that he'd actually turned that recorder on, right, before they made the film. Okay. And when we play that recorder back, you can hear somebody say, "Quick, get down." And I sent that recording to Dave, and it sort of freaked him a bit. It freaked me when I heard it as well.
Shit. Oh shit, man, that's crazy. What? That's
Finding all of this out, Alan Tait began to instantly point fingers towards the owners of Sophia Nails, for the
Stop.
screams and the noises coming from
Stop. No, that's a load of nonsense. I did not and have not pointed fingers at anybody at all whatsoever. And if you listen to my old podcasts, we went out of our way to actually say that even though the noises are coming or appear to be coming from behind Sophie Nails under the ground, it doesn't mean that Sophie Nails or the staff are involved in any way or form. And that's in one of the podcasts. No, we didn't point fingers at people, and we don't point fingers at people because we don't know what actually happened.
Yeah, man, I stand behind that 100%. Alan has never said that. Look, this is certainly that person or those people or. So yeah, that's true. Let's keep going.
Not only that, we've actually invited all of them from the early days to give their point of view. So we've said, if you come on, we'll give you the equal footage that we had on the website at the time, and you'll be on the website and everything. You can give your point of view. That's it. They had the choice, and they chose not to, although Simon's spoken out quite a lot.
Yeah, listen, you have went out of your way. I mean, this is life for Alan. To anyone watching and listening, this is literally a huge chunk of his life. He dedicated hours upon hours into this case. So yeah, man, let's continue.
No, let's not. Let's just play a little role play, right? Just imagine you're my next door neighbour, and I say to you, look, Naz, these are the screams and everything I've heard. So, what do you make of them, or what do you want to do about them? What would you do? Would you help, or would you go like, no, I can't hear them, that doesn't exist?
Yeah, man. Yeah. Well, a lot of people can be cowards, but it's a great point, man. Great point. Obviously, you're gonna want to do something about it.
Yeah, so you could be a coward. You could be a coward. People are cowards. I mean, I get that. I understand that people are fearful. But when children are involved, you're not going to get someone that says, no, those noises aren't real. That didn't happen. It's all in your imagination. That sort of crap. It's not true. It's like these noises are absolutely real. And most people that ignored them and said it didn't exist have got something to hide, in my opinion.
Yeah, man. Unbelievable. I agree with you 100%. Let's go.
Believing that they were digging tunnels or using existing tunnels under the residential area to smuggle people into the country, which would not be too far-fetched if there are actually underground coal mining tunnels that were abandoned around Ammanford. This, unfortunately for Alan, is where things get pretty muddied up. At this point in the story, the Taits have already become fairly known in the wider Wales area due to the flyers that they've been handing out. They were already living in a van in fear of the drug trafficking ring threatening them. But the wider public believed it was nothing more than just a ghost story, believing that the couple thought...
What's this guy, right, who apparently is in America? How does he know all this information? Yeah, where does he get it from? Yeah, he's stating as fact that the people around me think this, think that. And how? This is made up.
Yeah, man, I was actually thinking about it, and I was going to address it at the end of the video. I was going to ask the same question, where is this guy getting so much information, man? And again, especially because he's here in America, man. Yeah, man, smells fishy. Smells very, very fishy. Let's go.
Their house was haunted for some reason. Local police checked and found nothing actionable, and the matter was essentially dropped from an investigative standpoint. No government agency validated the Tait's claims, and this lack of official intervention is a giant point of contention for the Taits and for their supporters. The Dyfed Powys police were first made aware of the Tait's claims back in 2018. According to Tait, police officers visited his house and Sophia Nails, but did not undertake a full search.
Yep. This got a lot of information again. The police never visited my house, and as far as I know, they didn't visit Sophia Nails. That's just not true.
Yeah, because he obviously says that, after investigating, there was no investigation. That's the huge point, man. No,
There
no one
was, there
investigated
was,
anything.
yeah, there was a bit of an investigation in as much as eventually, when Avon and Somerset Police got in touch with Suffolk Parish Police, a police constable, and let's get this right, this is a serious allegations that has been given to a police constable to investigate, and he investigates it to start off with by standing outside the building that's suspect for 2 days, and then makes an appointment 6 weeks in the future to go inside and look at the building. I mean, does that even sound credible?
No, that sounds crazy. That sounds crazy because, yeah, this is, as far as crimes go, I mean, this is even when, hard killers in prison would be, shocked and appalled by something that happens to children. That's the biggest no-no. So, yeah, man, I agree with you completely. Let's go,
Can I just say one thing at this minute before we carry on? Okay,
please.
for anybody that wants to look at the credible evidence, so what I've done is I've taken out everything that's I believe to be credible and put on one separate website, and it's at ourinvestigation.com. And you can hear the recordings, and you can also see the police documents and extracts from them, where they say there's nothing in those recordings that make them think anybody is in any danger at all.
Yeah, I just pulled up the site, and I'm gonna make sure to pull up both of those sites. And just to remind everyone, Alan, correct me if I'm wrong. Alan has translated a lot of this into different languages. Have you done it already, Alan? You've done it already, right?
Yeah, that website runs now on 10 different languages. It's not just the website, though. The police documents have all been translated. Any photos that have got words in them, they've all been translated as well.
Yeah, man. So we have Greek, we have French, we have Espanol, Ruski, Vietnamese, Bulgaria, China, Turkey, Switzerland, and Finland. Okay. Well, hold on. That's not Finland. That's Iceland.
Iceland.
Iceland. Yeah, Iceland. I apologize. Let's keep going.
In Tait's words, authorities declined to investigate thoroughly the horrifying possibility of underground trafficking. Not a single person was taking this seriously, which I do have to say is a bit confusing to me. If I knew that the business next door to the guy who is saying that he is hearing screams coming from underground and believe that there is a drug trafficking ring happening is ran by drug traffickers, I think I would try and take that claim just a tad bit serious. Nothing would ever come of this, unfortunately. And unfortunately for the Taits, they never got the answers that they were looking for. To this day, they have not been able to return to the house. And in 2021, the Taits sold their home, putting an end to any further investigating that could be done without trespassing. But that wasn't the end of the story. In 2024, both the abandoned house and Sophia Nails mysteriously caught fire. No one knows why or how, and
Stop.
by this point...
Now, this bit, right, is sort of setting the stage for what comes next, but we'll go to that in a minute. In that fire, all that was damaged, as far as I can see anyway, was Sophia Nails and what was my former house above. So it's the flat and behind it. Now I've looked at this on Google Earth and that was it. Yes, there would be slight damage perhaps to the derelict house next door that's been repainted now. But it looks like it's not particularly serious. There was more damage done on the other side of an establishment that's now a fast food shop called Banging Food.
Yeah, it's crazy that we're coming up on a year anniversary, if you will, of this incident. Okay, let's keep going.
Sophia Nails had also been abandoned. All of the coverage of this event told the story as if it was a ghost story. The locals interviewed talked about it as a ghost story. No one acknowledges the drug trafficking aspect of this case. And due to the lack of answers given for this event, the lack of support, and the lack of seriousness put onto Alan's claims, he has been going constantly about this case and is actually still active to this day. He has gone through a number of websites, the vast majority of them down now, but All of them the same, going through the story, adding more details, and trying to spread awareness as much as possible. But because of how long he's been going at it, the constant posting and hundreds of hours of audio, and the weird amount of reporters who refuse to run this as anything more than a ghost story, I wanted to ask him about the case myself. So I reached out on Twitter, where he is most active, for an interview.
Stop. He did, no, in fairness to him, he did write to me on Twitter, but on my Twitter account, I get a complete load of nonsense from people wanting to date me, which I find quite funny. But it's like, invest in this currency, invest in that currency. So I only read the messages every so often. But he did actually write to me, to be fair to him. At the time, I was designing the website in 10 different languages, so I did miss it. So I reached out to him as soon as I was aware of that. On 3 different platforms, and that's about a week ago now. He hasn't replied on any of them, so he has the chance. But here's the thing, and this is the big thing: on all my websites is my email address. Yeah, he chose to contact me through Twitter. Yeah, why didn't he back himself up? Why didn't he, if he actually wanted to speak to me, use my email address? And when he didn't get a reply on Twitter, yeah, it's the obvious second choice. It's everywhere. He's obviously seen it because he's played back my websites.
Listen, trust me, when I need to get in touch with someone to invite him, let's say on this podcast, I will do, multiple ways to contact the person. So you're making great sense. What I wanted to know is, do you remember when he sent you that first and only initial message on Twitter? How long was that ago?
I couldn't tell you without actually looking on Twitter. I don't know.
So let's see. Okay, so this video is a month old. All right, let's continue.
I waited and waited and waited and nothing, which kind of sucked. I'm going to be honest here. I am very conflicted on this case and its validity for multiple reasons, as despite the strange occurrences, I do not believe that all the sounds picked up and recorded are coming from underground. Some sound like motorcycles, some sound like helicopters, some sound like kids playing. None of which would be too surprising since there's a park right behind the property. On top of this, no one else who has investigated the house has been able to pick up or record anything unusual. I do believe that there was something very
No, that's just not true. 9 different people other than me have been to that house. They've all recorded similar sounds. The recordings have been shared with the police. The police haven't bothered even interviewing them. So to say that nobody else has recorded these noises is untrue. Now, he's specifically talking about Wales Online. So a guy called, let me get this right, Rob Harris. Me and Rob Harris had a chat, and he wanted to go down the house. I said, not a problem. I said, but what I'll do is I'll send you down 2 brand new recorders. Yeah, the reason they're brand new is because they obviously haven't been tampered with beforehand. So I'll send them down to you. They'll be down whatever morning it was. And that was our agreement. So he went there. I've got the emails somewhere as well that will back me up and prove this point. He went there and he said in an email that he wasn't able to collect the microphones in the morning. But what he did do is when he went into the building, he put his iPhone on the top shelf of the kitchen. He said, but I didn't pick up any recordings. And he also said, but I didn't expect to either. And that's the bit that guy's missed out. He makes out that everybody that's been back there hasn't been able to record anything, but 9 people have. And the only one that didn't was Rob Harris. And the reason that he didn't is he didn't pick up the recorders and put them in the right place.
Yeah, I just want to highlight that all the other people that you actually brought to the podcast, I just wanted to really point this out, that you and these people that I've communicated with, that obviously either have been to the house or heard the recordings, you guys are all very like down to earth, practical people. I mean, you know, at the very first time that we talked, and I asked Alan, "Do you think that this is paranormal?" Alan has been saying, "Look, this is actual children." A lot of people, you know, like Melissa, somebody that has worked with, with troubled kids, or kids that are, in abusive households or what have you. So a lot of these people are very practical people. These are not like ghost hunters. So I just really wanted to point that out. I think it's important.
Prove to me that you are alive.